planting crew is here in Kingston at the lovely Fat Turnip Farms with owner Brian Custer and surrounded by sweet corn, you-pick flowers, and of course, a pumpkin patch.
Brian is going to share his passion for farming and why it's important to grow the next generation of farmers. Learn why soil testing is the key to success and tips for growing onions in Kitsap County, a crop that Fat Turnip Farms is known for.
It's a beautiful, foggy fall day on the farm, so join us.
Here at Planted, we believe that learning experiential knowledge from each other is a valuable part of earning your green thumb. Brian, why is bringing up the next generation of farmers important to you?
Well, in just one generation, we've really gotten away from our agricultural roots. For example, most people over the age of 55 either worked on a farm, picking strawberries, raspberries, or whatever, or knows somebody who did. But today, that's changed. Culturally, we've really gotten away from that. So we're doing everything we can here to teach the younger generation.
Like us, you are a believer that soil is the most important thing to gardening and farming, and that soil testing gives you a blueprint to help build your soil and provide the things that you grow, the perfect amount of nutrients. Soil pH, in particular, is something that you monitor very, very closely. Why is soil pH important both to know and adjust?
It's the foundation really for the whole project that you're doing. If you don't soil test, it's the same thing as going to the dentist and telling them to drill. What's the first thing they're going to say? They're going to say, we're going to take an x-ray and we're going to find out where the pain is, and that's where we're going to drill. That's what soil testing does for you as a gardener. It teaches you and tells you a roadmap for everything you're going to need to be able to do. If the pH, for example, is too low or too high, it doesn't matter how much of the certain fertilizers you put on, because if the pH isn't right, the plant won't be able to get it. That's the critical thing that people need to understand. Here we shoot for pH of 6.0 to 6.5.
We recommend sending your soil out to a professional testing lab versus doing a DIY home testing kit for accuracy of the results, and also because the recommendations and the detailed instructions that you get from a professional lab are very valuable and helpful in doing what you need to do to get your soil where you need it to be for the particular crop that you're growing. What time of year do you recommend doing a soil test? And for a home gardener, how often?
I think for home gardeners, until you get established and have a good baseline and know what you've got, you're going to want to do a test every year. I prefer to test after the new year, which is when most of the old crop has rotted away, things have sort of stabilized. So if you test, say January, that's a great time of year to do that. Then you'll have enough time to come back and augment the soil and make some changes, perhaps add more lime, which you're probably going to do anyway. And if you do all that, do it the same time every year. Develop consistency until you've established a good baseline.
Yeah, and if you use the same lab consistently, then they're going to test the same way or use the same parameters, and so you can rely on those tests going forward as being based on the same thing.
That's right. And one of the nice things about using a lab is you now have an expert that you can call and ask questions about your particular soil test. They'll really help to remove any of the gray areas or things that you don't understand.
And it gives you so much more information too to move forward. So if we switch gears a little bit here, let's talk about onions. And you are famous for a viral Facebook post where you were holding some onions. Like, how do you grow onions in Kitsap County? That's what we want to know.
The very first thing is to understand long day, intermediate day, and short day onions. If you took the United States and divided it roughly into thirds, with the upper third being the Pacific Northwest area, that's the long day area. So you want to grow a long day onions for the long day territory. Up north here where we are, Walla Wallas are a great long day onion, and the one that we would recommend to just about any home gardener. We get 16 to 18 hours of day length here in this area, and day length is what triggers the bulbing process. So you could grow a short day onion here, it just won't get as big. Conversely, you could grow a long day onion down south in Texas, but it just wouldn't get as big. So make sure you select the right onion for the area.
Okay, and even like that also pertains to like green onions, shallots?
Not so much. With the shallots and the green onions, those are such a quick crop. They come up and they go. You're 45 days from seed to harvest. So it hasn't been as much because you're not working for a large bulb. You just want a scallion.
Health of the onion. How do we get this? And it's so important. People don't really know about the leaves of the onion. Let's talk about this. How do we get these onions like this, Brian?
Well, I like to say it's all about the leaf. One leaf represents one ring. Our target goal every year is 13 leaves. And the reason is 13 leaves means 13 rings, which is a big onion. So early on, you want to do everything you can to protect and promote proper leaf growth. I mean, you want leaves that are 2 inches across at some point, because that's where the carbohydrates get stored that will eventually move into the onion. If you have skinny little leaves, you're never going to achieve a large onion.
Or if they get broken off.
That's right. If you're cultivating or weeding or hoeing or whatever, and you think it's not a big deal if you knock off a leaf, it is, because the onion in its early life will store carbohydrates in those leaves, which is the future reserve for the bulbing process. And when you cultivate those off or knock them off when you're walking through, you've just reduced the potential size of your onion.
You've shared with Marie and I that a lot of people don't understand the effort and time and all that goes into growing the food that's on their plate. And you're passionate about changing that. Why?
Well, the further we get from our agricultural roots, the more concerned I get about the future food supply. The more people we can educate about what it takes to do here, the more we can do to mitigate the future food shortages that may happen. We're not in the business of creating more farmers as a culture. We're trying to do that. We're trying to teach every young person that comes through here how to grow food and what it takes to grow food. Because who knows, we might create a future farmer.
You know, thank you so much for having us here today. We've learned so much and had such a great time. Are we making something with onions later?
Onion rings?
Onion rings.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
A huge thank you to Brian Kester for welcoming the BCAT crew to Fat Turnip Farms. We've had a great time today and hope our Planted viewers did too.
Brian's passion for farming is contagious. Now we're inspired to go home, test our soil, and get the ground ready to plant onions for the next season.
Check out Fat Turnip Farms' Facebook page and see the web links on screen for growing onions and soil testing. Until our next episode, keep tending that green thumb because the more you grow,
The more you'll know. Want to go pick some flowers?
yeah, let's do it. Links for this episode are posted in the video description.
Thank you.